Alright friends, we're going to get started with our homemade pita bread. 3 cups of all-purpose flour in a bowl or the bowl of your stand mixer, along with 1 packet of rapid rise or active dry yeast, a teaspoon of sugar, 1 cup of warm water, pinch of salt, and 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. You can go ahead and put everything in together, and if you're lucky and have a stand mixer like me, just let that bad boy or girl go until your dough forms. Once that happens, go ahead and form it into a ball. Put a little oil in the bottom of your bowl, cover it, and let it rise for 30 minutes to an hour. Once it's risen or doubled in size, go ahead and turn it out onto a floured work surface, and you're going to want to press it down into a disc. At this point, we're going to cut it into 8 roughly equal sections. If you have a scale and you're very OCD, you can of course weigh them out to make sure they're exactly the same, but I'm not that picky. Take each one of your 8 pieces, form it into a ball, and then working very carefully, go ahead and roll it into a pita shape, roughly 7 to 8 inches in diameter. Set that aside, repeat with your 7 other pieces, and in the meantime, preheat a baking stone or a baking tray in a 500-degree oven. Laying down 2 pitas at a time, or 1 depending on how many will fit. Go ahead and toss those back into your preheated oven for roughly 3 minutes. Then you're going to want to pull them out. You'll see they're already forming a nice little fluffy pocket. Give them a flip and give them 2 to 3 minutes more, or until they have a light golden brown color on the outside of the pita. I'm super excited to share all of these traditional Middle Eastern and Lebanese recipes today. They make a great complete dish, but are also excellent in their own right. You can make a whole batch of these pitas and throw them in the freezer for whenever you need some. Now, onto our hummus. We're going to take 2 drained cans of chickpeas, put those into a blender, 2 cloves of garlic. I'm doing a roasted red pepper hummus today, so I'm adding a couple of roasted red peppers, but you could certainly leave those out and have this just be traditional and plain. I'm going to squeeze in the juice of half a lemon, a nice heavy pinch of salt, and a key ingredient in hummus is tahini, which is just ground up sesame seeds. We're going to be putting a little ground sumac. That can be a little hard to find, but go to a specialty grocer and look it up. It is a key flavor component. The last ingredient is a couple of ice cubes. Kind of strange, but just trust me, it makes a really creamy, smooth hummus. Once you get those chickpeas started, go in there with about a 1/4 cup of olive oil, blend it until it is creamy and smooth. You can always add more of any of these ingredients to your taste, and I like to top mine with a little bit more of our ground sumac, some sesame seeds, and an additional drizzle of olive oil. Next, we're going to move on to our tabouleh, which is traditionally a bulgur wheat salad, but I couldn't find bulgur wheat, so I grabbed some brown quinoa, and it's going to be just fine. Mincing up a few green onions, a whole head of parsley there. We're going to julienne a English cucumber, and then go ahead and dice that into small little pieces. All of the ingredients and directions will be listed down below, as well as on our website. You can check that out. Cut a couple of aroma tomatoes, a few pieces of basil. Mint would also be wonderful in this salad. There's the aforementioned quinoa. So we're going to take all of these ingredients here and just slide them on into our quinoa and start giving them a mix. Before we do that though, we need to add our final seasonings and flavorings here. That's going to be some cracked pepper, a nice pinch of salt, about a 1/4 to 1/3 of a cup of olive oil, and the juice of 1 lemon. The lemon and olive oil kind of serve as a vinaigrette for what is more or less a grain salad. Go ahead and toss all of that very thoroughly to combine, and you can eat this warm, room temperature, or cold. The herbal flavor notes are phenomenal, especially after they've had a little bit of time to get to know one another. We'll set that aside and get started on our kofta, or kefta. That begins by grating up half of 1 white onion, throwing in a couple of minced cloves of garlic. Jarred garlic would be fine here too. And then I'm using 2 different types of meat. You could do all lamb or all beef, but I like a mixture of both. So there's 1 pound of ground lamb going into our bowl. We'll follow that with 1 pound, or slightly under a pound in my case, of relatively lean ground beef. Now, there's a lot of wonderful seasonings in here, and they give it that Middle Eastern spice profile, so do not skip them. Put in a little smoked paprika, some cayenne pepper, that's up to your taste, more of that ground sumac. As you can see, I'm not really measuring while I go. I'll do my best to give you some measurements on the website, but It's really all about what flavors you like strongest and best. Some cardamom went in there along with a little bit of allspice. And finally, we're going to need to grate in some fresh nutmeg. Now we need a fresh component of this, so I'm going to take some more parsley, go ahead and chop that up nice and fine. We'll add that to our mixture, along with a nice seasoning of pepper and salt. And now it's time to get the best tools in your kitchen and put them to work, your clean hands. Just mix this very thoroughly so the onion, the garlic, the herbs, the spices, the meat itself is all very well mixed. And now wash up and grab yourself some skewers. Now you could certainly form these into patties and cook them in a skillet or bake them off in the oven, but if you have a grill, I think it imparts the perfect flavor for these type of kebabs or kofta. So you're going to want to form these around your skewers. The size you make them is totally up to you. Just make sure that they are relatively even in size. That way they will cook at the same rate. What's up, Anubis? Anyways, I made mine relatively big. I'm dropping them onto a grill, and I'm just going to turn them every 5 to 7 minutes until they are cooked through to about 155 degrees in the center. Once they're cooked through, I'm going to pull them off and let them rest. And the very last thing we've got to do is make a little sauce. So I just happen to have some Greek yogurt sitting around. I'm going to tear in a little bit of fresh basil. Again, mint would be totally delicious in this. And a nice squeeze of lemon juice. All right, we are ready to plate our dish up. Start with a generous portion of that tabouleh. Then next up, we will bring on one of our kebabs. It should slide pretty gently off the skewer. Hopefully so. Place that down. And we've got our nice warm pita. I'm going to go ahead and kind of tear this into quarters. You could totally make this like a pita pocket meal as well if you wanted to, but I like kind of serving it all separately. Garnish our kofta there with our nice yogurt sauce. And that's the spread, folks. Let's start giving it a taste. So first off, you may think store-bought pitas are the same as ones you make at home, and I mean, I guess the ingredients probably are, but those fresh pitas right out of the oven just really can't be beat. That hummus is creamy, just a tiny little bit of a kick from the red peppers and a little bit of the spices we put in there. Gotta go in for a nice bite of this tabouleh here, make sure I get cucumbers, tomatoes, herbs, all the good stuff. Oh yeah, flavor explosion. It is so delicious. You've got to give this a try. That kofta is perfectly cooked. Nice little smoke ring on there from the grill. Get a little bit of that sauce on there. Let's give this a try. Okay, yeah, this is out of bounds. Honestly, one of the best things I've made on this channel, at least in recent memory. I've just got to go back for one more bite with a little bit of everything. Oh man. I really hope you guys will give this a try and let me know what you think. Wow, so good. No matter what you do, please like and subscribe for more content. Thanks for watching, and as always, go make something delicious.